Good morning. Welcome to this session of food production theory for diploma class. Our topic today is proteins, and proteins are the building blocks of each and every living organism. Each and every cell of our bodies contains protein. And the protein in the body is actually a chain of amino acids that make it up. The body requires protein to be able to function, for growth, for body building, and for repairing of body tissues, and the building of new cells once the old ones have died. So it is very important that our food is rich in proteins. We can be able to classify proteins into two categories. That is protein. We can have animal protein, and we can also have plant protein. Under animal protein, we have meat, we have eggs, we have milk, we have poultry, fish, and shellfish, and game. So if meat is actually gotten from domesticated animals with cloven hooves. That is the cow, the goats, or sheep, and their young ones. So we have beef from a mature cow, and veal from the young man of a cow. Then we have mutton from sheep or goat, and lamb from the young ones of sheep or goat. So the reason why we don't put goat here is because the structure of sheep and that of a goat is the same, only maybe that they look a bit different, and the flavor of their meat is more or less the same, with a little bit of a difference. Then we have pork as the other kind of meat. So the types of meat are 5. We have beef, veal, mutton, and lamb, and pork. Then, of course, out of those meats, we have their offal. Offal are the innards or the internal organs of those carcasses. So we have like the heart, the tongue, the liver, the kidneys, tripe, or matumbo. You know matumbo, yes, and the oxtail, and even the head is considered as part of the offal. And we also have the sweetbreads in cows. Where we have something near the like the pancreatic gland, out of what we call the sweet milk. We can get milk when it is whole and unadulterated, but we can also have skimmed milk, whole milk, low-fat milk, and all that. We can also have milk as processed milk, like pasteurized milk, homogenized milk. Yeah, so like homogenized milk is generally whole milk, only that the fats, the milk fat has been churned together with the water in the milk to create very smooth particles, and that is what we call homogenized milk. Then you have the milk products like cheese, ghee, yogurt, ice cream, and all those. They are important sources of milk protein. Only that some are healthier than others. For example, yogurts and ice creams have a lot of sugar added into them, so they are not very healthy, especially for people having lifestyle diseases and like those who are advancing in age. Should not indulge so much on such. Then we have poultry. Poultry is meat from birds. So we have chicken, we have duck, we have goose, we have poultry. I mean, we have goose, we have turkey, and any other domesticated bird that we keep for food. So generally it's chicken, and the chickens can be broiler, capon, spring chicken. We also have old hens that have been laying. We also have the free-range birds and the confed chicken. Free-range birds are generally kuku wa kienyeji as we know them, or confed chicken. They also kuku wa kienyeji. Only that free-range birds have a designated area where they are able to get their food, and they are still fed with supplementary feeds, but they are placed in different places for the chicken to roam and generally have an outside kind of environment, but have places where they go back to lay their eggs or even to retire in the evening. Okay, so confed chicken are generally what we rear at home, where we just put them outside there and give them whatever food is there, maize, food remnants, and such other things, and then the rest they search for themselves. Yes. Now we have other poultry like ducks and geese, which are also very important in the provision of proteins. Then we have fish. We have fish of different kind. Like we have a flat and round fish. The flat fish are streamlined, and generally they have this kind of shape. Yes, and the bone is in the middle like that. Examples are tilapias. We have tilapia, we have trout, we have the salmon, and the red snapper as some of the examples of flat fish. Then we have round fish, but the examples of flat fish are so many. I would expect that you check them out and in the Theory of Catering textbook. Then we have flat fish. Flat fish are those that have a round body like that, and the bone is actually horizontal. So we have those like the mudfish, the catfish, the eel. Those are some of the examples of round fish. Then amongst the flat fish, there are some fish we call oily fish, because they are very rich in oils, especially the omega-3 fats and oils. And these are such fish as the tuna, the anchovies, the herrings, the cod, and the halibut. And of course, the oil can be harvested and used for medicinal purposes. Especially, we have in the market a free supply, a free flow supply of cod liver oil, 70 cod liver oil. Yeah. Sorry? Okay. Then we have the other apart from fish, we also have shellfish. Shellfish are also divided into mollusks and crustaceans and cephalopods. Mollusks are those that do not have bone. Generally, they move using muscle, and most of them stay in shells, like the clams, the mussels, the cockles, scallops, and the oyster. Okay. Then we have crustaceans are those that they have the body that looks like that of an insect, like the lobsters, the prawns, the linguistines, the crabs. All those are under the crustaceans, and most of their meat is found in the claws. Yeah, their claws have the most of the meat. Then we have the cephalopods. Cephalopods have a lot of tentacles and paws, limbs, and examples are the squid and the starfish and the octopus. Those are the cephalopods. All right. Then we have game. Game is meat found from wild animals. So obtained from wild animals. So of course, game can be divided into two. We can divide game into feathered game and furred game. Feathered game are birds of the wild, like the grouse, the pheasant. The pheasant is, I think, quite common even at home because it looks like a chicken, but it's found in the shamba. I'm sure you have seen it or you have ever heard of it. Then we have the partridge and other small birds like the woodcock, and then of course the ostrich is also under game. So those are the feathered game from birds, birds of the wild. Then furred game. Under furred game, those are animals that have fur, and we can also divide them into two. We have the hare like the rabbit. Yeah, so the hare and the rabbit. So the hare is the one in the wild, and then the rabbit is the one that we keep at home, but it's still considered as game. Then we have venison. Venison is the other kind of furred game, and here we have the animals with the cloven hoof and horns, and here we have the wild beasts, the deers, the antelopes, the llama, and such other animals. So that is the classification of proteins. We shall be looking at them under meat and game. Then we have plant protein. Under plant protein, we have whole grains. We have beans. We have peas and grams. Okay, and the whole grains or cereals, cereals are gotten from plants of the grass family, yani nyasi, from the grass family. And examples of these are maize, wheat, rice, and oats. Okay, they are gotten from the plant, the grass family. Then when we talk of them being whole, it is because they still have the germ in them, and that germ has a small amount of protein. So if you eat those, you get a lot of, you get a small amount of protein, and then still a lot of roughage for easier bowel movement. So it is more advisable to eat your grains whole than when they are refined, like hostess and grade 1 kinds of flour. Instead, have your maize ground into flour, and nothing is extracted. That is the healthiest of the flours that you will ever have. It is most recommended. Most people don't like it. Even people claim that it is impossible to cook that ugali in a short while of time, but it is all mythical and in someone's mind. If you believe it will not get cooked, it will not get cooked. So it's just having on the right attitude, and you'll be able to eat ugali. And good news in it is that ugali, you take a small piece of it and it stays in your stomach longer, so you will not get hungry, and you can actually be able to use it to manage your weight or reduce it if you need to do so. So a very important tip there. If you want to remain healthy, make sure you eat foods that are rich in whole grain. Your breakfast cereals should be whole grain instead of refined. And even when you're eating ugali in your main meal, make sure you use a whole flour, like grade 2 ama mnaitanga number 9. Yes, that one. Then there's beans. Beans are from the leguminous plants, just like peas and cereals. Peas and grams. We call them pulses. 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 They are all from the leguminous plants, and the leguminous plants are those that have two testers instead of one, that split in the middle. So beans are of many kinds. We have like 17 varieties of beans. The most common are the black beans, which in local language and nationally is known as njahe. It's a Kikuyu name, but it is the one that is most known here, njahe, black beans. Then we have adzuki. Adzuki is a bean that is white in color and has specks of green or brown. In the cereals shop, you'll find it called mutemania. Then you have the boloti, and that is the nyayo bean, the nyayo bean that we know. You also have the kidney beans. Yes. And in the cereal shop, they are mostly called gituru beans. Yes. Then we also have the yellow bean that is becoming quite common today because of its abilities to reduce cancer cells from multiplying in someone's body. So those are the beans. Then we have peas. Peas have a roundish shape, while the beans have a kidney kind of shape, most of them. The peas are just generally the green and the yellow peas. Where they are growing, all of them look the same. And we can use the peas when they are green, like minji, for both the yellow and green. Then after when they have been dried up and harvested, the yellow peas will change into color yellow, while the green peas remain green. That is generally the difference, but they tend to have the same properties, the same flavor. Okay, then you have grams. Grams are the dengus. I'm sure you know green grams. Like we have the green grams and the yellow grams. The yellow grams are not very common here in Kenya, but there is quite a variety of yellow grams out there. So green grams, they are very tiny. I'm sure you know them, but they still have two testers that split in the middle. Then we have lentils. Lentils. Let me write it up here. Lentils. Lentils also have two testers, but they look like the shape of a shell, of the scallop. They tend to have tapering ends, and then the middle is a bit raised. So they look like a pie or a discus, something that has this kind of shape. Okay, so lentils, generally in the cereal shop are known as kamande. I'm sure you have heard of kamande, right? Yes, and I think we have also made it in the kitchen, so it's not quite new to us. Lentils is also very rich in proteins and a very good meal. So when you're making the pulses, they tend to contain a lot of gas and may not be very easy to digest if they are eaten, if they are just cooked as they are. So in most cases, it's good to start breaking them down into peptic acid and pepsin and peptic acid, and then maltose. Maltose is a sugar. So that when they are breaking up, even when you cook them, they tend to be easier to digest, and then they will not produce as much gas in the stomach. So it's easier when you soak for up to 12 hours before you cook them. You can also germinate the pulses, like lentils and grams can be germinated and cooked with the sprouts coming off. So germination, and then also there is sprouting. Sprouting is like for bean sprouts, where you actually sprout until the beans have a shoot and a stem. Then of course the testers will fall off and it is used as such. And of course at this point it is not used as a protein dish but as a vegetable, but it still has the protein not quite have left the plant. So there's a bit of protein still there. Yes, so those are the proteins. It is very important that to know that in our diet we have high quality proteins and low quality proteins. High quality proteins are deemed to be those that that do not tend to have a lot of unhealthy fats, like the saturated fat. For example, a good high quality proteins are fish, chicken, and milk products generally, and the beans. While the low quality proteins now are deemed as eggs, meats, and game because of their high bad cholesterol fats. Anyway, if you eat your meat lean without fat, without a lot of fat, and also not deep frying it or cooking it with lots of fat, then it is healthier than when eating it with fat. Yes. So those are the kind of proteins that we have, and it is also important that we also look at each one of them in a bigger way. Like if you are looking at the meat, if you look at beef, the way we know it has quite lots of parts of it, and those are what we call the joints of beef joints. Then from the joints, which are bigger, we can have cuts. Okay, from the joints we can have cuts. Under the joints we have such things as the shoulder, the leg, the sirloin, and the shin, yeah, and also the chaps. So the chaps are the ribs, and of course is considered the best part of the beef, and can be grilled really easily. The shin, the leg are mostly used in stewing, and the top side of also is used for stewing because they tend to be a bit tough, so they need more cooking than the chaps. So we have the joints, and then from the joints you can cut escallops, you can cut ram steak, you can cut T-bone steak, and other fillets out of it. We have the Chateaubriand, we have the tornadoes, all coming from the joints. and cut into cuts or fillets. We also have cutlets. Mostly cutlets are from minced meat, and then the minced meat is bound with eggs and breadcrumbs, and of course cooked in different ways. Like we have the Vienna steak, or what we call the burger, as a cutlet. So such. Then we have the same for veal. We also have the shin, the shoulder, the leg, the sirloin, and of course they are easier to cook because the meat is quite young and tender. The flesh of beef is bright red with flecks of white fat. Bright red. If it is not looking bright red, then there's an issue. If it is too dark, it may not be beef, by the way. It could actually be maybe a wild animal that someone is passing off as beef. Then we have veal. Veal is pinkish in color. Veal is pinkish in color and with white flecks of fat. In both cases, the meat is supposed to be juicy. It looks juicy even when hung or on the counter. All right. Then the offer for both is kidneys, the heart, the lungs, the oxtail. The oxtail is actually the tail, and the tongue, and some other things that of course we throw away. We don't actually have them in the book, but maybe in our cultures we still use them, like the head, the legs that are cooked into a beef tea and then eaten when they are very tender. Okay, so then we have poultry. No, poultry had talked about it. We have milk. Milk is a liquid that is gotten from the mammary glands of mammals. Even humans produce milk, only that it is taken by their young ones. We mostly the most popular milk is that of a cow, but we also have goat milk and camel milk being used widely, and there are also research findings that show that even donkey milk can be used and is considered medicinal. You can Google and see the medicinal benefits of donkey milk. Okay. Then we have processed milk. We talked of processed milk. We can process milk to be UHT. I'm sure we are all conversant with UHT. It is ultra heat treated milk. That means that the milk has been heated at very high temperatures and cooled rapidly and packaged in vacuum packs. The Tetra packs or the triangular ones, but it's milk. We also have the pouch that are a bit flat nowadays that are used in the packaging of milk. The insides of the pack is generally laminated, so the milk is not in contact with the paper, but the plastic film inside. Then we have pasteurized milk. Pasteurized milk is most of the time the milk that we are seeing in the market, like whole milk and in pouches, or also in those Tetra packs. It is heated at high temperatures and rapidly cooled and stored in those, but without vacuuming. And these ones, the milk will stay for up to 3 days maximum before it goes bad. For ultra heat treated milk, or what we are calling long life today, it can stay on the shelf for up to 90 days. Those are 3 months. Okay. We also have homogenized milk. Homogenized milk can be either pasteurized or ultra heat treated. So homogenized milk can be will keep also for 3 days when it is pasteurized, and also 90 days when it has been ultra heat treated. Ultra means very high heat. Very high. So ultra heat means very high heat treatment. Okay. Then so many milk products or dairy products like cheese. You know how we can get cheese? We let milk ferment and separate the curds from the whey. Whey is the water in the milk. The curds are the white stuff, and then the white stuff can be mixed with an enzyme from the stomach of cows called Rene, Rennet, Rene, and it is mixed together and stored for some time when it has been wrapped with muslin cloth and in cold conditions, so that it produces cheese. And cheese can be made into different kinds. We have soft cheese, we have semi-hard cheese, and we have hard cheese. Okay, and we also have blue cheese. So depending on the length of maturity period is what will give us the kind of cheese that we want. Okay, so I'll also leave you to go and in your service textbooks check for the different types of cheese. Look at them and see which ones are soft, which ones are hard, which ones are semi-hard, and which ones are the blue. The blue cheese are the most popular and of course very expensive and sweet and eaten as a dish on their own. In fact, it is in the classical menu sequence as a course on their own. Okay, we have butter. Butter is a fat that we use in cooking. So butter is gotten from the cream of the milk, and of course the butter fat content is very high, and of course most of the water has been removed. We can have salted butter or unsalted butter. Of course, butter can be substituted by margarines, which are vegetable fat. We have ghee. Ghee is also a fat from milk. Of course, this one is not, highly processed like butter, because you can even be able to do it back at home by separating the cream and then putting it aside and stirring it until it separates the oil, and then you get the oil, remove the water, and you have ghee. Then of course make sure you store it in the right in the right conditions, otherwise it will become rancid very fast. So it is wise to produce little amounts that you can use within a short period of time, instead of making a very huge one, a huge amount if you don't have maybe like a fridge in the house. Okay, then we have yogurts. Yogurts are generally made from fermented milk. Even in the market right now, we have fermented milk. Like we call them maziwa lala, maziwa mala. I'm sure you have seen them in the supermarkets, either in bottles or in pouches. So where the milk is fermented without any flavors or sweeteners, but yogurt has flavors, has sweeteners. But generally the method of making maziwa mala and making yogurt are more or less the same, only that the yogurt has sweeteners and flavors. Okay, then we have ice creams. Ice creams can be made even in the kitchen using eggs and egg yolks, where you make a sabayon mixture and then start churning in the cream. You can use double cream or whipped cream, whipping cream. Double cream and whipped cream. Whipping cream have very high contents of butterfat, up to 35 to 45%. Okay, while single creams have around 18 to 20%. 5%. And of course, single creams cannot be whipped, but double cream can be whipped just as whipping cream can be whipped. All right, so creams are also the other product, milk product, and of course we use them in cooking. We can use them to thicken soups. We can use them to flavor those soups or even garnish. Like when your soup is made and you're presenting it, you can put the cream in syringe and drop around, and then maybe even garnish with some black pepper. So you have like dots of cream on top of your green pea soup or your tomato soup, and of course, or even pumpkin soup. It makes it look otherworldly. All right. We also have what other milk products that is out there? What other milk product is out there? Sorry about that. You can hear me now? We have, can see Bansi has given us buttermilk and whipping cream. Yeah, and I also talked about condensed milk, where you boil or evaporate your milk with high sugar contents so that it gets this thick consistency. And most of this condensed milk is packed in tins or cans at 250 grams and 500 grams, mostly exports, because imports, because we do not have any Kenyan company making condensed milk. But I guess mostly because we do not had a very high demand for it in the market. So those are generally the milk products that we have. Generally you can the milk products are available in the supermarkets, all the way from whole milk, homogenized milk, UHT. The milk products, you will find them in the supermarkets, the yogurts, the ice creams, the flavored milks. You know flavored milk, right? Like strawberry flavored milk, chocolate flavored milk and such, of course, but they're not very healthy because of the high sugar content, but they are generally UHT, rather ultra heat treated. Okay. Yes. So unless maybe you have any questions, I'll give you a chance to ask questions now. Just unmute yourself and ask a question. Unmute yourselves, please. In your screen, there's this thing here. If it is it has a cancel, then you cannot be able to hear me. But once you click on it, it will be on. Yes. Any questions? Then can you ask them on the public chat? On the public chat? Okay. Then in our notes, you'll find that we have an assignment on amino acids. Amino acids are the small molecules that make up the DNA of a person, or generally the cells of the body of every living organism. And of course, we have 23 amino acids, and they have been divided into 3 major groups, and that is the essential, non-essential, and the conditional amino acids. Essential amino acids are those that you have to get from food. You cannot, the body cannot be able to make them for itself. Non-essential are generally made in the body as they are required. The body can be able to make them for itself whenever required. Then conditional are only required when maybe someone is sick and they may need those kind of proteins. Okay, so conditional amino acids may actually may be within the essential or non-essential, but it is a category nonetheless. So that the assignment is to look for the amino acids in the categories, and also tell us like where we can get them for those that are essential amino acids, like what foods we'll get as those lysines, albumin, and such amino acids. So if you do not have any other questions, I think I'll leave you to do your assignments now. Maybe I can give you a task. Okay, so then now, can you give me 5 different types of pulses and type your answer on the public chat? 5 types of pulses. Five types of pulses. Lentils. Beans, good. Peas, yes. Two more remaining. Lentils, beans, peas. Cowpeas is under peas, Dugwa, Sharon. We also have grams, yeah? I'm sorry, there are 4 types, not 5. The other one is grams, like the green grams or dengu. Okay. Yeah. So if we do not have any other questions, I'll leave you to go and do your assignment, and we meet in the next class. That is on Thursday next week. Bye-bye.